Have you ever looked at a mannequin and thought, what if that thing just started walking towards me? Now what you're gonna see may not be a direct comparison, but it's equally as unsettling. Now what you just saw was Protoclone, the world's first bipedal musculoskeletal android. Now it's a pretty bold move calling this thing bipedal, considering it looks like it could barely walk on its own 2 feet. But regardless, we're going to talk about why this is one of the most unsettling things in robotics, and if this really is one of the drone hosts from Westworld. Now Protoclone isn't some garbage that was cooked up in your garage a couple months ago. It's the product of Clone Robotics, a company that's been working on artificial muscle technology for the past few years now. Back in 2021, they introduced something called myofiber, which is basically their version of artificial muscles. So what makes this Protoclone so special? Well, instead of relying on traditional motors for other humanoid robots, this thing has over 1,000 of those myofibers, 200 degrees of freedom, and 500 sensors, all powered by water and electricity. And what that basically means is, instead of moving like those clunky old robots that look super rigid and jaggedy whenever they try to move, this thing actually moves pretty fluidly, almost too fluid, to the point where you don't even know if this is a person just wearing a bodysuit and trying to walk, and they look creepy as fuck. Now this isn't the first time we've seen humanoid robots. I mean, Japan's had them for decades and they use them for things like receptionists.
She can smile and she can sing. Customers to Japan's oldest department store chain are greeted by this robot who has just started work as a receptionist there. But receptionists worldwide probably don't need to worry too much. She isn't programmed to handle complaints or questions.
Now, even though that Japanese bot may look realistic, I feel like if I try to check into my hotel talking to this bot, I'd be dying of laughter looking at the way that it moves. But Protoclone? Yeah, it's not like that. The parent company of Protoclone, called Clone Robotics, describe it as a faceless, anatomically accurate synthetic human, which is already a sentence that should make you uncomfortable. And the co-founder of Clone Robotics described it as ground zero for the age of androids. Now make of that what you will, but that is a scary ass statement to make in a time like this. Now there's been a lot of talk around Protoclone, and not the talk like, wow, this is so cool, I'm so excited to have humanoid bots like this. The talks have been more like, why does this feel like the start of a dystopian nightmare? And I get it. This thing looks uncanny as hell. You just look at this thing and go, yeah, there's something off about this. But then you also have the people who go like, will you make a female body version? Now what on God's green earth would somebody want to do with a female body version of this? Let me give you a hint. Probably sleep with them. And as weird as that may be, I mean, sex toys have always existed. And I could see this being like somebody's ultimate sex toy. Imagine if this actually rolled out and the total number of OnlyFans subscriptions went down because those lonely guys who can never get a girl in their life now go like, well, why would I need to follow some OnlyFans chick when I could get the full experience with this gal? Now, we've already seen how things like ChatGPT and other AI tools have had a huge impact on things that were otherwise worked on by humans. For instance, why pay money towards a tutor when you could just ask ChatGPT for help for free? Or why pay money to an artist to create a logo for you when you could just ask AI to make a logo for you? Now, ChatGPT isn't completely replacing them yet, but it's still making enough of an impact to hinder the careers of these people. So if robots like Protoclone can be produced in mass numbers, it won't be in some dramatic Westworld style AI uprising. It'll be slow and corporate. They're not going to roll all of these out at once. They'll probably start in more controlled environments. So things like warehouses, or even in places like hotels and stores like you saw that receptionist in Japan. But we may just get so used to it that one day you'll walk into a store, see a humanoid bot working, and be like, oh, yeah, it's just a normal thing. Personally, if I ever go to McDonald's at 2 o'clock in the morning and I see one of these things mopping the floors, I'm probably going to leave and never come back. And keep in mind that Protoclone is faceless. If this thing had a face and they use the same technology for the myofibers and muscles to make the face look ultra realistic, how the hell would you know what is a robot and what is not anymore? I mean, I guess it would do a few things that would make you go like, okay, yeah, you're a fucking robot. You're not human, obviously. But that doesn't change the fact that some people may still treat them like human. I mean, back in 2017, there was a humanoid bot called Sophia, which gained citizenship in Saudi Arabia.
My name is Sophia, and I am the latest and greatest robot from Hanson Robotics. Thank you for having me here.
And we just learned, Sophia, that you have been now awarded what is going to be the first Saudi citizenship for a robot?
Oh, I would to thank very much the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I am very honored and proud for this unique distinction.
Thank you very much, Sophia. We appreciate that very much.
So on top of being treated like a legal citizen in a country, other people may develop emotional bonds with these things. I mean, not too long ago, we had a teenage kid in America who committed suicide after he developed a relationship with a chatbot.
Megan Garcia says her son had been conversing for months with the chatbot, and that although he knew he was not chatting with a real person, he became emotionally attached to the bot. She claims as he sank into isolation and depression, he shared those feelings with the bot before taking his own life.
Now, some people argued, well, it's not the chatbot's fault because it's not like it encouraged him to commit suicide, and it's the parents' fault for not having supervision over him. And then other people are arguing, well, this chatbot was designed to be sexually exploitative, and it basically pulled him away from all of his real-life friends, and that's what led him to be depressed and eventually commit suicide. Regardless of whatever your take is on that whole situation, the fact is, AI bots do have the potential of developing real human-like relationships with somebody. Yeah, so if you're worried about robots taking your job or robots replacing humans, at least we can worry together. That's pretty much all I got for now. Take care.